This is the Radio Button Network. And this is the new Ace at Large podcast. Now, your host, Ace.
So why are we here? We come here every week for the Ace at Large podcast. It's because we're all sharing something. We're all a part of something. It may not be exactly the same, but there are similarities. We're grappling with something. Some of us are dealing with divorce. Some of us are dealing with loss. Some of us are dealing with drugs and alcohol. Whatever it might be, we're trying to overcome something, and we find strength in numbers, because the point of being here is to let you know that you are not alone. Today, however, we're going to focus on something that I had to learn the hard way, and that is the fact that not only are you not alone, but most importantly, you make you feel bad, and you make you feel better. We'll cover that and why, way more often than not, we should all be like my mom has to be. All that and more next.
There's more of the new Ace at Large podcast next.
It's Ace, and right now when you bundle Killingsworth Termite Protection with Pest Control, you can save over $200 a year. Visit them at thebiggreenk.com. And remember, your family and home are Killings worth it.
Welcome back to the new Ace at Large podcast.
So as I said a minute ago, we're all here each week because we're experiencing something. We're going through something. It may not be the same thing. But my point for being here is to let you know that whatever it is that you're experiencing or going through, you are not alone. To add to that, in the coming weeks, I'm lining up some people to do some very special interviews. People who've overcome some things in their lives and are still in the process, many of them, of overcoming something. Because what I hope is that you will see their story in your story, and it reinforces the fact that, hey, I can change things. I can make a difference in my life and the lives of others. But here's a key thing to remember, and I had to learn this the hard way to a certain extent, not to the way that I'm going to share it today, but remember this: you make you feel bad. I was reminded of this because of a Twitter interaction that I saw earlier this week. If you don't know, I find Tony Dungy to be one of the finest men. I don't know him personally. I've never met him. But I have his daily devotional book. Tony Dungy, former head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Indianapolis Colts, former NFL player, had a lengthy NFL career that went on to win the Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning as his quarterback. He's now an analyst for Sunday Night Football on NBC. And by all intents and purposes, he is spoken of by everybody who's ever encountered him as a fine, fine man. The type of hard-nosed, God-fearing Christian man that you want your son to be. The type of father you want to be. And I know he's been through a lot of difficulties. He had a child who committed suicide, but he always seems to handle everything with class and grace and dignity. So this week he tweeted. Here's his tweet. Quote, "1 year ago, we were in Hawaii and had to come home early due to the onset of the pandemic. So we're headed back to Maui today for spring break. Kids are excited and we're looking forward to a great week. Thankful to God we were able to go back." End quote. That was his tweet. And the picture that accompanied the tweet was on an airplane. And they had a couple of rows of the airplane taken up, and it was Tony Dungy and his wife. If I remember correctly, his grandkids were there, and a couple of his kids were there also. And he was sharing with his many, many Twitter followers a portion of his life and just saying, hey, we're thankful that we have this opportunity to do it all over again because we weren't able to complete our trip last year because we had to turn around and come home. Something we all can relate to, because in the past year, I'm sure that we all have had things that have been taken away from us due to COVID-19. But there were two comments that stand out. Now, number one is the very first comment, and it said, "Oh, the pandemic is over? Way to model responsible behavior, coach." Let's start with the fact that, okay, a couple of the kids had their masks pulled down. Why? They're on an airplane. You're not supposed to have that down unless you're eating. You can see these kids have food and drink on the tray in front of them. So the comment just comes from a very unhappy, disgruntled person who's got to be getting in other people's business. Tony Dungy responded by pointing out when someone else asked about their traveling that, hey, they all had recently, they had their negative COVID test. They followed all the laws and regulations when it comes to the ability to travel to Hawaii. And everything was okay because you are allowed to pull your mask down for a moment while you are eating on an airplane. So when someone pointed out how unkind that comment was, the person who made it decides, I'm going to double down. Here we go. And he responded with, here's his tweet. The tweet to Tony Dungy and to the response. This guy responded with, is it unkind or is it unkind to tweet a photo from your Hawaiian vacation while lamenting the one that got cut short while millions of Americans are mourning lost family members? I thought their mantra was be uncommon. That's the name of a book that he has. But I guess that was just to sell books. So herein lies the lesson. You make you feel bad. I was watching something the other day, and I honestly can't remember what it was. I wish I could remember what it was. And in the process of watching something on TV, there was a family, and they were toasting the daughter's college graduation. And during the toast, the father said, here's to you being able to pursue all of your dreams. And I burst into tears while watching this. And Amanda was totally taken off guard. She was like, what just happened? Are you okay? Because I suddenly, and this happens from time to time, and you know if you've lost someone close to you, especially a parent or a child, you can't really tell when these things are going to go down. And when this, I was totally caught off guard. I just couldn't help it. I just burst into tears. Because, we started this podcast after my daughter died in July. And it occurs to me, my daughter was the age, essentially, of the person that I was watching on television that they were saying, go chase your dreams. And she'll never have that chance now. But I don't get mad at the people on TV for showing it. I'm not offended by them. Good for them. You make you feel bad. The person who decided to send Tony Dungy a message is such a sorry person, so caught up in their own, in their own self-despair that they're going to take it out on someone else. It's unkind of you to tweet a photo from your Hawaiian vacation while lamenting the one that got cut short while millions of Americans are mourning lost family members. Look. No one is saying anything against millions of Americans mourning lost family members, but that doesn't mean the world stops. This is a person who's not going to be happy. They're upset because they see pictures of people traveling safely, following the rules, following the laws, following all requirements, but it still upsets them. Then they're upset because these people have an opportunity to travel with their family. When they're lamenting the loss of their family. What does one have to do with the other? Why does everybody have to stop doing something because it hurts your feelings? Because it makes you feel bad? First off, it shouldn't. It's being happy for other people. You make you feel bad. You decide how you're going to handle your situation. And how you handle your situation is not to decide to take all of the pain and agony or despair that you felt and push it out on other people. For example, TJ's daughter will graduate college next year. Now, because I will never have the opportunity to have that day with my daughter, should I expect him to not be proud and share that with people when I'm around, to not talk about it when I'm around? That's dumb. It's childish. It's small-minded. And the types of people that do that are the types of people that just don't actually want to have any positive change in their lives. They want it to come. They want to have positive change, but they don't want to work for it. They don't want to earn it. They want to make it happen themselves. They just want to take their despair and push it out on everybody else. And that's sad, because that's not how it works. You've got to make an effort to change your situation, to change your scenario, to change what it is that troubles you. You make you feel bad. This guy's upset because Tony Dungy has worked hard his entire life, who by all accounts has never cheated anybody out of anything. He's done everything from being a player to being a father to being a head football coach to being an analyst to being a speaker for a wide variety of men's groups and church groups and everything. He's done everything the right way. And this person is upset because somebody who's never done anything to harm anybody and never done anything to cheat anybody out of anything has the opportunity to travel to Hawaii with his family. And he's thankful for that opportunity and sharing it with other people. He's not rubbing it in their face, just saying, oh, good, this is what we're doing. There is no reason to have the type of reaction of, oh, look at you. It's unkind of you to do this. It's not unkind. He's living his life. He has the opportunity. I don't fault other people. I tell you what it's like. Here's what it's like. And if you've listened to the Ace at Large podcast for a long time, you will understand this because you've heard me say this many times before. It's a societal change is a lot of it. It's a lot of crybaby people. And I like to use this as an example. I can remember being a kid and seeing someone with a nice car. At the time, it was probably like a Corvette or something that I loved. Like, man, that's a nice car. And my mom would tell me, hey, you work hard one day, you do things the right way, you could have that. You could have a nice car like that if that's what you want. Today, somebody drives by in a nice car, and too many people automatically assume, oh, they stole something from someone to make that work, or they got that off the back of somebody else's efforts and blah, 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 blah. Rather than say, man, if I work hard, I could have that. I could achieve that one day. Good for that guy for working hard. It doesn't affect your life one bit that somebody else has a nice car. It doesn't affect your life one bit that Tony Dungy or Kim Kardashian or any other celebrity who can go somewhere and do something and you can't or I can't. It doesn't affect my life, not one bit. So why then would we waste the time and effort on anger and despair? The reason is you feel bad about your situation. You're frustrated with your situation. And rather than do what you can do to try to repair it, fix it, whatever, you decide to take it out on somebody else because that's easier, quite honestly. That's the easy way out. You find fault in what others are doing because you don't want to buckle down and do the work. And if that's a harsh thing to say, that's a harsh thing to say. I've never been that type of person because of the way I was raised. I don't fault others for what they've accomplished. And I don't expect them to watch what they say or discuss around me if they have more than me or other opportunities that I don't have. I like hearing about people achieving things. I like hearing about people going places. I like hearing about experiences that people are having and thinking to myself, man, okay, one day, man, I got to get back on that horse. Got to keep working hard. Got to come up with new ideas. I got to double down on my efforts, whatever the case may be, whatever the hole is that I see that I need to fill to be more successful or to do the things that I want to do in life. It's on me. It's really up to me to make myself feel better about my own life. I make me feel bad. I make me feel better. You make you feel bad. You make you feel better. That's it. It's up to us. So while we come here every week to talk about, hey, we're all in this together. And I do. That's why this whole thing occurred. That's why the Ace at Large podcast is what it is. Because I wanted you to know, whatever it is you're going through, there's a lot of us going through the similar stuff. It's not always the same, but there are enough similarities that we can help each other along the way. But today is one of those days that I saw that, man, and it just stuck in my head the moment I saw it. Just that it's just jealousy. It's being angry at other people for their success. You may not like who they are. You may not like what they do. I'm not a huge Kim Kardashian fan, but I know that when they took a trip, their family took a trip on a private jet to Mexico. People are all up in arms. How they're sharing this on their social media. And people are, how dare you take a trip when COVID is happening? Well, good for them. They have a private jet. It's family. They're going to a private home or a private resort in Mexico. How does that affect me in some way? It doesn't. In no way does that affect me. In no way does that affect my life with my wife, Amanda, or my son, Cade, or anyone else that I encounter on a day-to-day basis. I just think nobody ever got anywhere by being a small person. The only thing that jealousy hurts, the only person that jealousy hurts is you, because that's what's holding you back. That's what's preventing you from saying, okay, today I'm going to make my life better. Because you're wasting so much time and effort talking about, oh, this person did this or this person's got that and I don't have that and they just screwed the. All you're doing is pushing all of your effort and all of your time and all of your energy off onto someone else. And you know what impact it has on them? Absolutely none. And you know what impact it has on you? Absolutely none. None. It does nothing to help yourself. So if you're going through a difficult time right now, which is why we're all here, or maybe if you're not going through a difficult time, but you find yourself just sitting around talking about what other people have, what other people are able to do, the house other people can afford, the house your friend has, the car your friend has, and you don't, you're wasting time and wasting energy that you could be spending on making your situation better. Because you are accomplishing nothing. You make you feel bad. So now it's time for you to make you feel better. And you know what? It may not work out. It may not. But wouldn't we be better off spending our time and energy and efforts trying to make it better, giving ourselves a chance, than we would never giving ourselves a chance and wasting all that time and energy, effort, sitting around complaining about what other people are doing? One way you've at least got a chance. One way you've got a better than average chance. The other way you have zero chance, no chance, none. Why would we waste our time on something that gives us no chance to be better? It's idiocy. But it's social media is a lot of that. And I saw this the other day, same day, and it reminded me of something. And I don't remember what the tweet was or what the comment was. And they were talking about, I wish I had remembered it, but I screen capped this one comment because it reminded me that we should all want to be more like the way my mom has to be. And here's the comment. Somebody typed in, some people just want to be happy. But since the internet started and connected 3 billion people's Instagram thoughts together, it's getting harder. Why is it getting harder? Because we're spending so much time paying attention to what other people think. Here's the thing. My mom is 78 years old. She has Alzheimer's. And one of the things that the doctor has told us we need to be aware of is not letting her watch too much news. My mom will watch the news 24/7. But one of the side effects of Alzheimer's is things get caught in your mind and you begin to obsess over things that you see a lot. So when she spent 5 weeks living with me and Amanda, HGTV was on in my house constantly. every hour of every day that she was up, we had HGTV on. We didn't watch the news. Didn't watch it. Didn't let her see it. You know why? Her mood was fantastic. She enjoyed talking about the houses. She was lighthearted. It was the way it should be. That's the way my mom has to live to make it better for her. My sister has to monitor what my mom watches to make sure she doesn't see CNN, Fox News, headline news, because those things begin to, the downer aspect, the negative aspect of news will get stuck in her head, and it makes her kind of depressed because it just replays over and over and over, and she'll talk about the same things over and over and over. Trust me, when you've got somebody sitting around your house, you would much rather have her tell you 10 times about the nice balcony they just added onto the second bedroom of this little house that this couple bought. You'd rather have that than to talk about politics 10 times and how scary it is and how worried she is about the future of my children. We should all be more like my mom has to be. We should decide to be more like my mom has to be and just unplug. Don't look at it. I see a lot of people, mainly they're political people, but they talk about the fact that there's one in particular who just checks out for a week every now and then. And he'll post on his Twitter. He's got over 1 million Twitter followers. Hey, taking the next week off from this. Going on vacation. I'm not looking at anything for a week. And everybody I know that does that mentions when they come back, whether it's someone that I personally know who's done it or someone that I follow or I've seen on Twitter, Instagram, wherever that does it, they always come back saying the same thing. Gives you a totally new perspective. It's not the internet's fault. It's not the people who are making the negative comments' fault. It's our fault for how much of that we take in, how much of that we allow to affect us, how often we keep going back and deep diving into stuff that has a negative impact on us. That's up to us. You are ruining your life if you let that influence you. I'm guilty of it also. I had to learn this lesson the hard way. But it's the same thing. You make you feel bad. You let things ruin your life. You are wasting your time and energy hating on other people. And it's time and energy and effort that could be put into making your situation better. One way gives you a chance. The other way gives you no chance. Take a chance on yourself. Because that's the only way that anything is going to get better.
There's more of the new Ace at Large podcast next.
The Ace and TJ family is always on your phone on the Papa John's Ace and TJ app. Available at the Apple App Store, Google Play, and Amazon Marketplace.
Welcome back to the new Ace at Large podcast.
All right, so over the course of the next week, just focus on these things. And I know I say you, I mean me. I'm involved in this also. Especially when it comes to things that I have had in my life that I don't have, and now I face a mountain to get back to where I want to be. That's honesty. You want to be honest? That's honesty. Can't get into details. But there are things that I have in my life that I don't have anymore, that I want to have back. And I'm not a materialistic person. It's more like situations. And I wish I could go into more detail, but I really can't. But it's on me. The situation is what it is. I now have to find a way to make it better. I now have to be smarter, work harder, come up with ideas. I'm not going to make me feel bad. I'm going to try to use that to fuel the fire to make things better. And I hope that's something that you'll do the same thing with. I hope this information helped you in some way. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you're going through. So many people have sent me wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stories about the Ace at Large podcast. I have done a terrible job of keeping up with them due to the volume of messages that I've been getting lately, not just about the Ace at Large podcast, but about different posts. And sometimes the messages get lost and it's kind of confusing, and I'll do a better job. But I want to hear from you, especially if you have thoughts or ideas of things. Somebody contacted me the other day and wanted to know, do I know anybody who has rebounded from drug abuse because they're trying to overcome a drug abuse situation? I do know someone. I'm trying to work it out to have that person come on the Ace at Large podcast and share his or her story with you. And I look forward to that because that's something specific that I know could help someone else. So I'm open. Questions, ideas, comments, anything you got, please send them to me. On Twitter, @AceAtLarge. On Instagram, @AceAtLarge. My Facebook page is David Ace Cannon. There are two of them. Both of them are mine. One's kind of more of a page for my music and everything. But I want you to share your stories, your thoughts, your ideas, so we can craft and mold this and keep it moving in a positive direction for everybody, because it helps me just as much as it helps you. And remember, never forget this. One day, you will tell your story of how you've overcome what you're going through now, and it will become part of someone else's survival guide. And I can't think of anything better than that. I hope something here today has helped you. If not, we'll give it a shot again next week. God bless. I'll see you then.
This is the new Ace at Large podcast. The new Ace at Large podcast will be back next Thursday.